Long before the election, there were whispers of icy relations between IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati and CEO Ezra Chiloba, despite the public displays of accord. But the chairman's statement yesterday called attention to the murmurs and cast a light on the shadow of a powerful secretariat, always lurking behind the Commission's every move and decision.
Without critical changes in key secretariat staff, free, fair and credible elections will surely be compromised.
His concerns mirrored those of former Commissioner Roselyn Akombe, who blamed CEO Ezra Chiloba for the Commission's failures in the August election. Akombe says he was the face of a parallel center of power and influence within the Commission.
That is really the nature of the Commission. That is what it has been for a few months. But also what we have is two centers of power. So you have the Commission on one hand, which is one center of power, and then you have the Secretariat on the other hand, which is a center of power. And politicians on both sides find it fit to pit one over the other.
NASA had also singled him and 5 others out, including 3 members of the Secretariat, Deputy CEO Betty Nyabuto, now retired Director of Legal Affairs Praxidis Tororei, and Head of Voter Registration Immaculate Kasait, as among 6 who should not take part in the fresh election. Nyabuto was Director in charge of operations, handling critical aspects of the election. Tororei's role was to ensure that everything IEBC does was within the law and was part of the IEBC's defense at the Supreme Court in the presidential election petition. Immaculate Kasait, accused by opposition of being Jubilee's hatchet man inside the Commission, reports to Ms. Nyabuto. The CEO, Ezra Chiloba, who heads the Secretariat, found himself in the eye of the Commission's storm, stirred by the Supreme Court stinging criticism of the electoral body's goofs. The chairman took him to task in a 12-point question memo, seeking explanations on aspects of the election he supervised and that the Supreme Court faulted. The memo was dated the 5th of September. The same day, the chairman announced a special 7-member team to shepherd preparations for the fresh election that was then to be held on the 17th. The CEO's name was missing. 4 commissioners rallied behind the CEO, widening the fissures within the IEBC. But the chairman, in another leaked explosive memo, dismissed the CEO's response to his earlier 12 questions, accusing him of trivializing grave issues. The CEO was sidelined yet again after the chairman announced a fresh project team for the October 26th election after the major political players criticized the earlier team's composition. Before the 8th of August, IEBC CEO Ezra Chiloba was a man in charge at the forefront of the Commission's election preparedness. Now he is at the center of calls for reforms at the Commission, and the chairman has asked him and other adversely mentioned persons to step aside for the Commission to carry out a credible election just 6 days away. But against the rising tide and the strong winds, the CEO, structured in character, is still holding on, as he has always.
Trying to prepare for that election by focusing on individuals, I think that's not helpful. I think what is helpful is to be able to see from the entire scheme of preparation the critical things that ought to be fixed. Even if I walked out of this place today, it does not mean that a presiding officer who colludes with others to mess up the electoral process does not mean that we're going to address that.
Chiloba took over from James Oswago, who was also hounded out of office at the height of the Chicken Gate scandal. Sheila Sendeo, NTV.